This is Get Real and Heal for high-performing women executives and entrepreneurs, where we discuss all things emotional healing and the relationships with yourself, your man, and your money. I'm your host, Jamila McMallow, wife, mother, certified cognitive behavioral therapy practitioner, mindset and relationship expert with over 20 years coaching and mentoring experience. I know that when you're the one that everyone else leans on, the leader and the trailblazer, it can be difficult to let your guard down, be vulnerable, and tend to your own emotions. So I hope today's discussion will allow you a moment to experience a life-changing realization, perhaps even a transformation. So let's begin and get real and heal. Today is a very powerful episode. We're going to be talking about trusting your husband's leadership. This is definitely a discussion for those of you ladies who are happily married to a good man. This is not a discussion if you are in some type of toxic, unhealthy situation. Okay, that's a whole nother conversation. But if you are a woman who is married to a good man, and if one of your biggest struggles has been feeling like perhaps you don't even know how to be married or how to operate as a unit or a team with your husband, you're not exactly sure where you fit in because you don't want to feel like you're competing with him or like you're going to somehow lose your independence if you give into what a marriage is truly supposed to be. So first and foremost, I want to say that you have to stop listening to and receiving advice from people who have never had a healthy, happy relationship. And even beyond that, a healthy, happy marriage to a good man. There are a lot of people who have been through some very toxic and unhealthy relationships, situations, divorces, etc., who have not completed their healing, who are still not in a new relationship demonstrating the application of what it is that they call themselves teaching. So that's step one, is you have to understand that when you look around, you don't see a lot of people who are happily married giving out good advice for other happily married people. And that's why I'm stepping forward to be a safe space for happily married women, because marriage is still going to have challenges even if both people are compatible, are emotionally mature, all those things. You're still imperfect, and a marriage is two imperfect individuals trying to come together and live one life together, even though they have different backgrounds, different preferences, all those things. So you do and will eventually find a groove as you grow together if you allow yourselves to grow together. So number one is you have to stop allowing the rhetoric of people who have no idea the experience that you are having. See, unhappy, miserable people love to talk about their unhappiness and their misery. And if they've never been able to find that happiness and peace with another person, they may advocate that the best strategy is to hold on to yourself, to maintain that independence, all of those things. When you hear that type of language, that's someone who's hurt and hasn't healed and is still in that state of, I've got to protect myself so this doesn't happen again. But a big part of ignoring that rhetoric requires you to actually start trusting yourself and to recognize when you are leaning into the programming that has told you that as a woman, your value is linked to what you do. And so you need to continue to pursue professional and financial success and compete with men like a man. You need to trust yourself that you made a wise decision. You have married a good man that you can trust, who is a loving man, who is not a dictator, who is not likely to leave you in some type of a financial lurch, or all the bad things that your mother told you or the internet tells you is going to happen if you actually allow yourself to lean into your marriage and lean into and onto your husband fully and completely. Now, the truth is you already are, you want to. And sometimes you do it and then you pull back because you're like, oh, is he going to think I'm needy? Ooh, is he going to think I'm a burden? You keep judging yourself for needing him. You keep judging yourself for wanting him when that is what you're supposed to do. It's the same stupid advice. And this is coming from a mother who I've had 3 children, 2 living. I breastfed my children until they were toddlers. I believe in allowing them to wean themselves. All of that. Okay, so it's coming from that's who I am. It's just like the same stupid rhetoric that tells mothers that they should ignore their baby's cries, that their babies need to learn how to self-soothe, as if a child who has no construct of the world, period, and 0 to little life experience or understanding, and is supposed to cry out for their mother so that they can receive the comfort, love, support, touch that they need, that she should somehow ignore their cries because she's teaching that baby something. Oh yeah, no, she's teaching that baby. She's teaching that baby that they're alone, that they cannot count on her, that they have been abandoned. Those are real feelings that they experience and don't have any context, that they feel hurt, they feel pain. It's all negative. There's nothing positive about allowing a baby to cry. And I share that with you because as a mother, when you hear your child cry, something within you moves you and compels you to jump up out of your sleep and swoop them up, to run down the stairs, to swoop them up. You can hear it. And as they get older, you can tell the difference between a cry when they are hurt and a cry when they're whining about something. You learn the difference. But your body, it's internal. You react to it. Something in you says, go. You've got to get to them. And so just how it is completely unnatural and distressing to a mother to be told to ignore her instincts and to force herself to not respond to her child's cries. It is the same thing to tell a woman who is happily married to a good man who she trusts that she cannot trust her instincts to want to go to him, curl up on his lap, snuggle, and be loved and cared for by him, to allow herself to collapse and be completely vulnerable with him, to feel moved to like, wow, I want to, cook and bake cookies and do things for him that I never thought I wanted to do. When I met my husband, we had decided, okay, we're not having kids. But within a few months of him, being with him and just him loving me the right way, and just when a man is hitting all the notes for you emotionally as a woman, it starts awakening things within you that are natural and normal. It deepens your attachment to him. And I'm like, oh, I think, wait, I want to have his baby. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So it wasn't a biological thing for me. It was like a desire that built up. Our love had to create something, like him loving me so completely and powerfully and deeply and filling me up emotionally in spaces I didn't even know I needed that type level of understanding. It awakened within me a desire to do things I did not have previously or naturally before, because I was married once before and that marriage was toxic. And those are not things that I felt with him, with my ex. And so I share that with you to say that as a happily married woman who is with a man who is loving you in the right way, who is filling up your emotional cup, who is making you feel seen, heard, and loved, there are parts of you that are awakening, that are making you feel like you want to do things that you didn't know you might actually want to do. And it is only because you are with the right man. That's what it's supposed to do. That's what love is supposed to do. It is supposed to ignite in you a desire to build and create something that is uniquely crafted from the two of you coming together. Not something that you would have maybe come to just continuing to live by yourself or being with the wrong person, but no, being with the right person ignites a part of you that you didn't know was there. But see, society and the internet will tell you that no, don't give in to that. Maintain your independence, maintain your healthy boundaries. Don't do that. You have to contribute to the family financially. You have to make as much money. You have to pursue all these things because that's what you're supposed to do. Yet, where's the evidence that way of being has actually produced happiness and fulfillment in anyone's life? Think. Who do you know that is living their life according to that programming that is winning emotionally, spiritually, in their mental health and well-being? Who? You don't know anybody. What you know is women who feel like they're in a constant tug of war, who are wearing 5,000 different hats, who feel overwhelmed, exhausted, burnt out, like they're doing too much, because what they're trying to do is be happily married and run the programming that's not designed for a happily married woman. That programming doesn't care anything about your personal life or your personal situation. It's not written for mothers. It's not. We were not indoctrinated or programmed to prioritize being a wife and a mother, period. There was a time, yes, when that's the only option that women had. But simply because that was then, and now women have the opportunity to become multimillionaires, billionaires, etc., it doesn't mean that both things aren't true, that being a mother and a wife is still extremely valuable and important, and having a professional career can be great too. But it is not greater than being a wife or a mother if that's what you are, that's what you have chosen to be. The tug of war is you keep trying to put that on the same level as your professional and financial success, and they are not. Only one has lifelong consequences or blessings. The other one does not. Professional success, money can be created anytime you set your mind to it. You are a woman with a set of marketable skills. If it hit the wall, if something happened and your husband, got hurt or anything, and you had to step up in that department even more fully, you would just do it. You would do it. So we're not in an era where it's like, oh, I've been at home and I don't have any skills and I don't have a degree and I've never built a business. No, you have, because here you are over 35, 40. So you've been working. At least 20 years. You done built a career. You have experience. So let's stop. Let's stop thinking of rhetoric and scenarios that don't apply to you. That's not your situation. You are married to a good man. You are happily married. You are a mother. You are safe. That is the part that you have to allow yourself to accept and receive, that you are safe. And know your roles as a mother, as a wife first, because you committed to your husband and you all are one flesh. Your role as a wife and a mother are not on the same level as your professional success and your financial status. They are not. And the reason why you hold back from allowing yourself to fully lean into and trust your husband isn't because he's going to somehow dominate you and take over and be in control and run you. You already know that's not true. The reason why you don't allow him to do more that he is capable of, and you continue to carry burdens and responsibilities that he never asked you to, is because you think that's what you're supposed to do and you don't know any other way of being. Even though you want something different because you're tired, you don't know how to do anything differently. And so as I've been speaking this entire season on the fact that we as women in this day and age have been programmed to be workers, okay, period, and to prioritize the pursuit of professional success and financial success, because that's their definition. That's what we've been programmed to do. We have not been programmed to prioritize being a wife and a mother, period. And so once you understand that and you rise above it and you see it for what it is, then you can say, okay, so there really is no tug of war. There really is no, there's no struggle here because I didn't choose that. I didn't choose to believe that. That was just what I was conditioned to believe. And so it's just one way to believe, but it does not make it true. It is a belief, but it doesn't make it true for me. I don't have to believe that in order to be successful, I have to be a mother, a wife, a mother, and this hugely professionally and financially successful person as well. I don't have to do all things right now in this moment. I don't have to be everything right now in this moment, in this season, in order to be successful. Because the programming only tells you that professional and financial status are the pathway to success. So the truth is, that's the definition. That's the programming that you're running. However, you're married, you love your husband, you want it to be a wife, you're a mother, you wanted children, you want to be a mother. But your brain is telling you there's only one path to success. So that's why you've been going back and forth. But again, you rise above it and you realize it for what it is. It's just a belief. You don't have to believe. You can choose. You can decide that you're going to believe something different. Now, what it means is that you're going to have to trust yourself, because trusting yourself means that it doesn't matter what these external sources or pressures or societal expectations have to say. You trust your own inner knowing and that feeling within you that is moving you to want to be more deeply connected to your husband. He's not rejecting you. He's not rejecting your vulnerability. He's not rejecting the closeness that you want to have with him. It's you. And so what I'm telling you is to stop, lean in, lean on him. And so when I say leading, that doesn't mean that he's going to take over and take control and arbitrarily just make random decisions and you have to go along with it. No. And you already know that. And if you don't, well, I'm telling you right now, you already know that. That's not even who he is. Most of the time when you guys have decisions to make, you talk about it and he usually goes along with your idea. You already know that about him. You made a wise decision. You chose well. You didn't relive your mother's life. You didn't make the mistakes of your friends who chose poorly or have never been married at all because they can't find anyone, because they are stuck in a pattern of attracting a certain type of man, because they still haven't done their own internal healing work. That's not you. So stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. Stop worrying about what everybody else is saying, and stand powerfully in your relationship, in your marriage, in your man. You got your man. You got your good man. So quit playing and stop trying to be out here in the streets like you one of these folks that ain't got no good man. Okay? Period. Dot. And the way that you can support him in feeling more confident in lovingly leading your family is to ask him for his support. Ask him for his help. Don't just all the time take stuff on to yourself to solve it. Like it's only your problem. Include him. In fact, include him until he's like, okay, you ain't got to talk. We ain't got to talk about all this stuff. I'll do this, you do that, whatever. Because you already have a division of duties and things right now. But I already know that there are things that he's willing to do, that he could do, that he's more than capable of doing, that you are still doing because you just feel like you should, or you never even thought to ask him to do it. And as a sidebar conversation, you may even be resenting him on some level because you feel like you're doing everything and he's not doing more. And it's simply because you haven't communicated that you want him to, and you haven't supported him when he has. See, if you want your husband to take the lead more, if you want him to carry more responsibility in the load in certain areas, when he does step up, you have to encourage him. You have to commend him. You have to express gratitude. You have to express appreciation for what he does. For example, after we started having children, listen, the kitchen and the dishes, no, on top of all the things that I was doing. So my husband started doing the dishes. Now, does he do them the way that I would do them? No. So I just had to be okay with the fact that the dishes were getting done. No, they're not the way that I would do them, but the dishes were getting done, and I expressed appreciation and gratitude, and here we are like 7-8 years later, and he is still doing the dishes, and I am grateful that that is something that I don't have to worry about. And that's just one small example, okay? But the purpose of this conversation today was to help you to understand that if you really want to learn how to lean more into and onto your husband, to really trust his leadership, is to, number one, to tune out all the noise, advice, and opinions of people who are not in a happy, healthy marriage to a good man, because they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to you and your situation, period. Number two, you have to tune out and stop listening to people who are still hypnotized by the programming that is your value or your duty as a woman is to work. That's what you do. Your job is to attain greater and greater measures of professional and financial status. That's the pathway to success. And you have to debunk that and not allow yourself to get sucked into that or to take advice from people who are believing that way, because you are on a journey to redefining what success is going to look like for you. You're not going to follow that singular path anymore. You're not. And all of that requires that you learn how to trust yourself completely. And that does mean that you're going to have to look inward, do some reflection, do some healing, shift some mindsets. Because it truly is the foundation for you not only learning to trust in your husband's leadership, but also in redefining what success means to you and for you, including him and your family and your life. So I am so thrilled and excited to share with you that my new Trust Yourself, No External Validation Needed mini training is out. I'm going to put the link in the description for this podcast episode, because it is such a powerful training, and within it is a bonus exercise that strategically walks you through the process and the mindset shifts to redefine what success means to you. Now, this mini training is a part of my Trust Yourself mini course, which takes you through the full process of releasing the need for external validation, of learning how to fearlessly trust yourself again, and giving yourself permission to step into unapologetic happiness, meaning you're going to do what makes you happy, no matter what the programming and everybody else who's deciding to just be asleep and live their life that way. You are going to take your power back and redefine what success means for you and your life based on your situation, your beautiful marriage, your wonderful husband, your amazing relationship, your wonderful children. That is what it is all about. Empowering you to get off the hamster wheel, to break up with hustle culture, to break up with boss babe energy, and to step into your feminine ease era. Because you deserve it. You've been working hard and hustling your whole life. So, I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, I want you to remember that you are worthy and deserving not only of what you desire, but of what you have already created. Simply because you live, breathe, and exist. Visit CoachJamila.com, where you'll find the links to connect with me on social media and more information on my private coaching for high-performing women.